Oh, Jason Whitlock. Oh, Jason Whitlock. Here he go again, talking about he's so tired about hearing about black quarterbacks winning and all that. Here he go again. I watched his show. Listen, when they mention that four black quarterbacks have won the Super Bowl, that should tell you something. Russell Wilson, the last decade, was the first one since Doug Williams. You're going on this rant. Was it not a big gap from 88 to 2012? And we talking about over 20 plus years? And in between time, Don McNabb went. Okay, he did. Steve McNair went. But far as winning and having control of the squad and doing it, that's what we're talking about. Opportunity. And all these cats who be get on this box about we're not progressive. The reason why ESPN and people can still mention it because they know how racist it is. They racist themselves, but one plantation to another knows how it really is. I'm sorry, but one person because of their color of skin should not have more rings than a combined race of people. Tom Brady has 7 rings. Let that sink in. Mahomes has 3. Russell Wilson has 1. Doug Williams has 1. And you now have Jalen Hurts with 1. So 3, 1 is 4, 5, 6. 7 to 6. Does that sound like we have a balance? And you go on about 12% of the population, even though it's more people than that, 11% in the Super Bowl. Does that sound like a balance to you? Shut out in the 60s and the 70s. Does that sound like balance to you? When Bart Starr won his 2 with Green Bay, does that sound like balance? Joe Namath won his. Lynn Dawson won his. Bob Greasy, Roger Staubach won respectively multiple. Joe Montana's got 4. Does that sound like balance to you? The Mahomes thing is a big deal because there's never been a black quarterback in a position to have that opportunity. You got to have opportunity. All these people crying about, well, I'm tired of hearing about that. Because you've only seen it the last 12 years. It wasn't the norm. Where was it at? 40s, 50s, 60s when they were having championship games. Where was it at? Where was it at in the 60s, 70s until Doug got in the 80s? Where was it at? Then we go to the 90s when it was tokenism and it was so few in between. Maybe if you gave Warren Moon an opportunity a lot sooner and Joe Gilliam and James Harris opportunity, maybe you wouldn't have to say this. But think about it. We're in 2025 and you still have to acknowledge so few that have been so 2-1. Because a lot of these organizations and teams ain't put black quarterbacks in positions. And a lot of times when the guys did get positioned, they were on some janky, sorry but excuse teams with a lot not to work with offense. Now think about it for a moment. So you're going to always have a racial disparity in America, what have you, because they have not had a balance. Not been any balance. Doesn't work that way. And there's a reason why it's so like that. And I can go through other sports. Because when we talk about the quarterback position, which is considered a lead position, because they didn't think black guys were capable enough to be in the lead the role. Charlie Ward wins a Heisman Trophy, and he has to go play back point guard for New York Knicks in the 90s. Talk about that. Talk about that, Whitlock. Talk about how it took a while before you started to see more black quarterbacks. They wanted to turn them into flankers and receivers. Like Bill Polian tried to say about Lamar Jackson, who's a 2-time MVP and a run-up other times, and still trying to downplay his athleticism. See, got to have opportunity. When you get opportunity, then you can say you tired. But until you get opportunity, you can't say you tired. Because it hasn't been afforded for all. And we're not nowhere near there. And yes, you get excited about Jalen Hurts winning because he's been downplayed for a lot of other guys that don't have his resume. Sorry to break your heart and bust your bubble. Black quarterbacks usually don't get the same horns blowed as Baker Mayfield. They never diss Baker Mayfield like they did Lamar Jackson. Or you get held to impossible standards because he came in commercialized, got to play for the home crowd, got home cooking. And they didn't shuffle him around to quite a few teams to cover his weaknesses. Oh, I can go on. Jared Goff got traded to Detroit after runner-up in the Super Bowl to cover his weaknesses. Matthew Stafford got sent to the Rams. Think about how it plays. Think about how it plays. It's called opportunity. Talk to Warren Moon. Talk to black quarterbacks who didn't get the same opportunities as their white counterparts. And let's see if it comes down to opportunities. Before you talk about you fatigue a black quarterback. You haven't lived half your long of your life. You need to tell the truth. You need to tell the truth. If you're under 60 years old, you just are getting used to seeing black quarterbacks in the mainstream in the last, dare I say, 15 years. That means that over half of your life, it was 4 white quarterbacks to maybe 1 black quarterback. Tell the truth. So you start talking about some fatigue. I'm like, tired of you downplaying the racial disparity because it's real. And we don't even talk about head coaches with opportunity to win rings that are black, general managers, and that's a whole nother subject. That's why you have to remind and keep rules and things in place because it hasn't always been afforded that way. It hasn't always been stated that way, and it hasn't always been pushed that way. And by the way, since we're talking about Super Bowls, right? It dawned on me. Jalen Hurts is the first starting quarterback who happens to be black that won a Super Bowl for Philadelphia Eagles because Nick Foles was in a backup capacity. And as much as they boo-hoo, ballyhoo Ron Jaworski, who did the runner-up against the Raiders, he wasn't seeing Jalen Hurts. Carson Wentz didn't finish the task, but he was a runner-up this year. Think about it. How does that look with Carson Wentz over there on the other side? Jalen Hurts took his job. Given an opportunity. Speak on that. Please like, subscribe, work on thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another. Share it if you like and hit that membership. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm out one time. Peace.